Hi guys, this is section 1.1, Nets and Drawings for Visualizing Geometry. The objective for today is to make nets and drawings of 3D figures. You can represent a 3D object with a 2D figure using a special drawing technique. That technique is drawing a net. A net is a 2D diagram that you can fold to form a 3D figure. So basically you're looking at a flat figure on a piece of paper, you cut it out, you fold it up into a 3D figure. It shows all the surfaces of a figure in one view instead of you taking the 3D object and turning it so that you can see all the faces. Problem 1. The net folds into the cube shown. Which letters will be on top and on front? So when you're folding it, you have to look at the letter that they give you. So the figure you have is this one. Oh, let me change colors. The figure that you guys are looking at is this one. The figure that you have to look at and watch is this one. So when we're done, we want this letter on the right to be the letter D. Every other letter needs to be in the same spot, but you have to fold it so that the D is on the right. So they want to know which letter will be on the top and which letter will be in the front. So the spot that we're really paying attention to is this one right here. So if we keep that one right where it's at or fold it in, it will be on the right side. The shape that will be on the front of the box will be the C. The shape that will be on the top of the box will be the E. The shape that will be on the bottom of the box. So that's the two that they actually asked you for. So top of the box would be an E. The front of the box would be a C. Let's look at some of the other spots that would be in here as well. The bottom of the box. If this one is on the front, the one underneath it would be folded onto the bottom. The one underneath it is a F. The one on the left of the box then, so this spot right here would be a C. This spot right up here would be an E. What we're looking at is what would be here. And when you're looking at it, it's just to the left of the letter C, so that would be this one. So the left of the box would be B, and then this missing one that we haven't looked at yet, that would fold onto the back of the box. So we'll say back is A. So in case you need to look at those, you need to look at where's the letter that they have given you, and then all the other letters need to be in the exact same spots. Now, this one was pretty easy because all they did was actually fold it up the way it was. Sometimes they flip it, turn it, twist it, and the letter that looks like it's on the right is going to be in a different spot. So it's harder to figure those out. So really pay attention to where the letters are and where they will be at the end as well. Try got it number 1 on your own. You can keep these on a little piece of paper, and you can always use these on quizzes and just to look back on for notes. The net in the previous question folded into the cube shown. Which letters will be on the top and the right side of the cube? So when we're looking at it this time, you need to pay attention to the letter B. They want that one to be in the front. And again, they're looking for the one that's going to be on the top and the one that's going to be on the right. You can pause the video, try this one on your own, and then you can come back to it to see if you got the right answer. So with this one, we are looking at this letter right here. This one needs to be in the front. So if we fold it just like it is, the C would be on the right side. And the A would be on the left side. The D would be on the back because you'd have to fold that to the right. This one would be on the back. This right here would be on the bottom. And this one right here would be on the top. So I did every position, but the only ones you really needed to know were the top and the right. So top E, right C. Let's move on to problem 2, package design. What is a net for the graham cracker box? Label the net with its dimensions. So what we're looking at is unfolding a 3-dimensional box into a 2-dimensional shape. So we're going to do the reverse of what we're kind of just working on. So when you think of a rectangle, you need to think, if I cut up one side of the box, for instance, if we cut right here with a scissor, how would it fold out onto a piece of paper? So, or that's what the book did, actually. I'm gonna let you look at that one and look at what the book did. We maybe will cut in a different spot just to show you that they're going to be pretty much exactly the same. So I'm gonna go the left side of the box. Let's say we cut right here. So I'm gonna draw what I see on the front. And I'm gonna label those dimensions as I go. So the length of the box is going to be 20. The width of the box is going to be 14. Okay, now if I cut it right there, I also need to think about what is going to be, to the right of it. So I'm looking at, what is this spot right here? How do I draw that? That's going to be a skinny little rectangle right next to it. And then I'm going to fold it out flat. So then I'm going to go to the one that's in back of it, which is another bigger rectangle. And I'm going to keep going around the box to this little tiny one on the edge again. And that would be that skinny left side. Okay, so I've got pretty much the whole middle taken care of. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the top and bottom where I can actually see them. I'm going to attach them to the bottom of the box, but it really doesn't matter what shape you put them with. You just have to make sure you remember to do the top and the bottom of the box. So there's my top and bottom. And the only reason I didn't draw that with my front is because I put 14 centimeters kind of in the spot that I needed to draw the rectangle in. But we do need to label the dimensions now. So I have my length and my width. I do need this right here shown though. This right here is 6 centimeters. They only really do one of each. So I'm going to go like this. That right there is 6. Right here is 14. And of course the other one, we'll go green, this one right here is 20. So at least you know at least one of the dimensions on each thing. So could there be a lot of different answers on this one? Absolutely. It really depends on where you think about, where should I cut this box? The book did one kind of similar to mine. It actually ends up looking like mine, but they cut theirs in a different place. So as long as you have the big rectangle in the front and another one on the back, not next to each other, and then the two skinnier ones, you'll have the center of the box. If you open the flaps of the top and bottom, that's the little tinier flaps that you see shown right here. These are the flaps. So looking back at this one more time, if you do these and your picture is different from the back, it's okay. You just have to make sure that you have all of those shapes. They might be in there in a different order or look slightly different than exactly what they have back there, and that's okay. Okay, here's got it question number 2. What is a net for this figure? Label the net with its dimensions, and the photo is shown. You can pause the video right here and try it on your own. So for got it question number 2, I always draw the front first because I think that it's easier kind of looking at it in this way. So this right here is the front of my shape. what I need to do is I need to think about what shapes are there. There are two triangles, a front and a back. There is a rectangle, actually 3 rectangles. There's one on the right, one on the left, and one on the bottom. The bottom one could be a square, but this time it's not. So when you're done, you're going to have 5 shapes, and they all have to be connected in some way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the rectangle on the right next, and I'll try to do different colors so you can kind of see them. So I'm going to do this one right here. So I'm going to draw a rectangle to the right of what I just showed. We'll put dimensions on here in a minute, or we could do it now. This one right here is 10. Right here is 4. This one right here is 7. Okay, so then when you think about it, you have another triangle on the back side. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take the back of the figure, which is a triangle, and I'm going to make it just to the right of this one. So this one was the one in the back. Then you have to think to yourself, what else do I need? I need the bottom of the box. So far we've done the back of the box, the front of the box, and the right of the box. So what we need to do is somehow put the left figure in there as well as the figure on the bottom. So how do we do that? We look, and to the left of the front is going to be another rectangle. So I'm going to draw that over here. And then we also need the bottom shape. Since I've already drawn my numbers in, my labels, I'm going to leave those there. And I'm going to put the bottom of the box with that figure that I just drew in purple. And the bottom is going to be a rectangle as well. And that goes there. So this one is the bottom. This one is the left. And we have all of those shapes. Now, if you look in the back, it probably looks a little bit different than this one. It's okay. Remember, you need 2 triangles. They can't be next to each other because one's in the front and one's in the back. We have 3 rectangles, which also can't necessarily be all next to each other. One is going to be to the right of that front side. The other is going to be to the left. And that bottom shape needs to be attached to one of those figures that you see there as well. Part B, you can pause again as well. Is there another possible net for the figure above? If so, draw it. Well, if you look at mine and you look at the one in the back, they probably look a little different. So yes, there is. You could draw any number of figures that you wanted. You could start with the rectangle on the side, the green one, and it would still have the 2 triangles attached to it. And then you could draw the other rectangle attached to one of those. So it might look a little bit different, but the shapes are going to be the same. So next up is isometric drawings. It shows a corner view of a 3D figure. It allows you to see the top, front, and side of the figure, and usually it's the top, the front, and the right side. So try to do those 3 faces when you're asked to do isometric drawings. I will be handing out some isometric dot paper to you tomorrow. This is just a little piece of a isometric dot paper. I'll probably give you a full sheet, and then you guys can cut it out and tape it onto your assignments. I don't have stickers of these because basically we don't do these for very long. I want you to know how to do them, what to do for them. It just shows a different view of a 3D figure. There are different sizes. Some are centimeters, some are 1/4 inches. It kind of depends. Notice it's not a normal piece of graph paper because of the dots, obviously. And then notice that the 2 dots here, the one will be directly in the middle of it, below it. So you can kind of tell that it does look totally different than a piece of graph paper. It shows a 3D figure as a folded out flat surface. It shows a 3D figure using slanted lines to represent depth. So what is an isometric drawing of the cube structure? I am going to make this a bit smaller so that you can actually see the cube and you can see the dot paper at the same time. So when you're looking at it, you see the yellow cube, the dark blue, and in the book it might be purple, and then the green figure to the right. So on the front edges, I'm actually looking at the front as this view right here. Now, some might look at the front on the right. On a test or quiz, if you're ever confused about what the front is, usually I'll say, you know, front. Okay, and that way you're going to know how to put it onto the dot paper when you get that far. So don't start on the edge because you're going to run out of room. Start kind of somewhere in the middle. And what we're going to do, and my dot paper looks a little bit different. The cubes look more like diamonds. In the book, they look more like just, you know, kind of, it'll look a little bit different than the book when we get done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and draw 3 lines down. Okay, or 3 dots down. So that's going to be the left side. So I just drew this one right here. I should do that in a different color here. I drew this one. Okay, and I'm going to make it the same color. So that's this one right here. Notice it's 2 cubes long, so it's 2 that way as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to okay, so what we've drawn is the left side of the box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with that dark blue or that purple one. So I'll change color so that you can kind of see that one, and I'll try to do the same color as the shape. We'll try to stick to that. So what we're looking at is we can only see one little square. Well, when we draw ours, they're going to kind of look like they are off center a bit. And sometimes people like to start at the top, and that's okay too. Maybe we should do that instead. Let's start at the top of the box. So I'm going to start with the yellow figure. So this is the left side of the yellow figure. We're going to need it to go to the right one. So it's kind of going down right here. I just colored kind of over that. And then it needs to go down and make kind of a cube shape. And again, it looks kind of like a diamond instead of a rectangle because we're putting it on some dot paper that isn't the same size. Now to form the rest of that, the top of the box is going to be right here. And then the front part of that yellow box, or the part that's on the right, is going to go down like that. And that's that top yellow cube. So we have a diamond on the top that you can see, a diamond on the right that you can see, and a diamond on, actually on ours, it's a diamond on the left, which also looks like that. So there's my yellow. Now I'm going to do that purple. So I think I would start at the top. I think it's a little easier. Now we're going to do the purple. So this is the left side of the purple. This one is down to the right. We fill in and make that cube. And again, the cube on the top of the figure looks like a diamond in ours. We can't see anything else for that. So that part is actually done. And now we'll go to the green shape. The green shape starts right under the yellow box, which is, whoops, sorry about that. Where did it go? Okay, here we go. So on the yellow box, we can see this part right here, which is what I'm going to do right now. It starts here, and we can see that whole entire cube right there. Okay, so we've done that part. Notice it goes down right here. That goes from the middle. It goes straight down from there, and it connects to the purple one. So I've done this part right here. It's right there. And then we go to the right 1 box and down 1 box. So there's the green part. And we have our yellow cube that sits on the top. We can see our 3 faces, the top, the left, and the right. The purple cube on the front, we can only see one face of that one. And then the green cube on the front or on the right of the box, we can see the top, the front, and the right there as well. So these are kind of tricky. Most kids, when we do these, they have a little trouble with these. And it's basically because you're looking at two different types of pictures. One is a 3D cube, the other is the isometric dot paper. Also notice when you look at the book, they will usually leave this figure right here, a solid figure without any lines on it, to kind of show that that's the front of the box. You might do that, and it might make it a little bit easier to see that shape. Now also my dot paper is stretched out a bit so that you guys can see it, so that's why it looks a little different than the books too. So that might be why if you're looking at yours and you're looking at mine, they look a little bit different. Here's got it question number 3. What is an isometric dot drawing of this cube structure? This one's a little bit different, a little bit harder because it's got 3 cubes in there. So let's shrink it down one more time so that we can see the whole entire figure. Again, my dot paper might look a little bit different than yours. When you see this one, you'll kind of know if it kind of resembles the book, you're probably okay. So I'm going to start with the figure on the top. I'm going to use orange for this one. So I'm going to start right here. I'm going to draw that shape right there. So make sure that you put this somewhere at the top so you have enough room. It looks like a diamond. So I have drawn that part. Now to do this part on the side, I'm going to make one line down from the middle one line down from the one on the right, and I'm going to enclose it. So that is that one that I just shaded, the second square. Now I'll draw the one on the left side. So to do that one, I go down from the top one and I connect it. So that is my cube that's orange. Next I'm going to do the one that is green. So for this part, notice how it goes to the left of that lowermost point. So I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go to the left of it. It goes to the left of this point right here. So I'm going to go to the left of that as well. I'm going to enclose it. So this is my cube that's green. I have done this one so far. Now I'm going to do the one that's on the right, just like I did before. I'm going to go down from that first point that I drew, down from the second one, and connect it. And then when I look at this last shape that I'm going to shade in, it goes down from this one. And you have to go straight down because that's what it looks like. And then you're going to connect it. So there's my shape that's green. And then I'm going to go to the blue one. So the blue one, if I do this one first, I have to go to the right of the orange one. The middle line is done, this one right here. So far I've done these two. This one is already drawn, so I'm going to connect that one in here. To make the cube on the top, I just enclose it like this. So there's the top. To make the one on the left, I go straight down and I enclose it. And to make the one that's kind of in the very front on the right, I go straight down and I enclose it. So that's the shape that's 3 cubes in example 3. Now next we're going to go to an orthographic drawing. An orthographic drawing represents a 3D figure in 3 separate views: the top view, the front view, and the right view. So with this one, those are the only 3 views that you guys are ever going to draw, and that's the only 3 that I will ask you for. It doesn't matter which one you do first, but you do have to signify which one is which. It provides unique information about the shape of a structure. Solid lines are those edges that we can see. Excuse me. Dashed lines are those that are hidden, and I'll show you what those are in a minute. So in problem number 4, what is the orthographic drawing for the isometric drawing shown? So we're going to basically do the opposite of what we just did. So they have the isometric picture shown. We're going to do the orthographic part of it. And the shapes that we're going to do are the top. We're going to do the front. And we're going to do the right. Doesn't matter which one you do first, but you have to be specific about which one is which. So I'm going to do this kind of by color as well. So if you have colored pens or markers, you might want to do that. So when you're looking at this thing from the top, you're looking at it from looking down from the top. So those shapes that we're going to see would be this one and those. Okay, so when you're doing that, and you have to think about it from the front. You're looking at it from the front side, but on the top of the box. So on the front side, here's what it looks like. You're going to have a small square. All of this will be hidden underneath it. You're also going to see a three-sided shape. That looks like that. Now, when I look at these two definitions up here, solid lines show the visible edges, dashed lines show the hidden edges. So when you're looking at those edges that are visible, we would be able to see all 4 of those edges. We would be able to see all of these edges, just like that. The thing that's different, and the reason that there's this solid line right there, is that those are at 2 different levels. But from the top, you only see those shapes that you can see. But when you draw it in there, you have to put that line to signify that there might be some stacks, some blocks underneath that one that we can't see. Okay, so solid line because we can see all of those edges. All right, so that one is done. Okay, now let's look at this in a different view. So let's look at the view from the front. I'm going to do the front in purple. The view from the front would be right here. We can see this one. So I'm going to do that one. It is 3 cubes high. So on your paper, if you're using the lines, make sure it's 3 lines high. It's kind of like here's one of those lines, here's another one. So make it about 3 cubes high. And this is the right of the box right there. So we can't see that one, but we can see this one right here. So there's just a tiny little one that is outstretched from that one. When we are looking, I can see the whole entire set of cubes on the front. I can see the cube on the side, but I also want to signify that there's some hidden cubes behind this one. So I'm going to put a dotted line right there. So the cubes that are hidden are all of these back here. I can see the whole cube on the right, but I have some that are hidden on the back side of that one. So I need a dotted line for that one. And then the right side, I'm going to do that one in orange. So for the right side, I'm going to look at this box right here, this one right here, and this one right there. So if you do have colored pens, it is easy to see which ones you're actually drawing. Now to get it on the paper, that's a different story. So I'm going to draw the 3 cubes high again. So make sure it looks like 3 cubes and not 2. There is a cube right here. And there's another cube right here. That's what it looks like. Okay. So when you were looking at it from the right, you see the tall one on the left, you see that front cube, and you see that second cube. Even though it's back a little ways, you can still see the entire thing. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this one again, this front view right here. This is kind of what the book has. This is what I would do on that one. I kind of disagree with what they have. I would probably go like this. because you can see that whole cube on the front. You can see the whole cube on the right. There are some hidden in the back, but when you look at this one, there's some that are hidden behind this one as well. And then how do you do that? So I think what they're probably doing, I would probably accept either one of those. What they're probably doing is just telling you that there's some cubes hidden behind this block right here that you can't see. And on this one, there's some back there, but if it's going to be a hidden edge, you don't usually draw the edges as dotted lines. So, you know, here, there's some hidden behind that one, but since it's an edge that you would be drawing on, you don't have to show it. So that's probably why the book did the dotted lines there rather than the solid ones like I was talking about. So we probably should stick to how the book did it, but I just wanted to show you why this one right here is probably not right. Do the hidden cubes behind the tall ones. If there aren't tall shapes in front, you don't have to show anything that is hidden. If you would like to pause it, you can go on to Got It question number 4. What is the orthographic drawing for the isometric drawing? So again, we're going to try the front. We're going to do the right, and we're going to do the top. So top, front, and right. So from the top, here's what I'm looking at. Okay, so from the top, I see 2 cubes on the left. One is on the top. I can see each of those cubes, and then connected to this one, it is about 2 squares wide and going there. So this one, oops, I don't know what's going on here. Sorry about that, the video got all covered with lines. So this one goes here, this one goes here, this one goes here. There's no hidden figures. We can see all those shapes. We're good. Okay, now I'm going to do the front. So in the front, I see this one, I see this one, and that's it. So from the front, I see 1, 2, 3 cubes high. We can see that front small one. Then I can see 2 cubes high, 2 cubes over. Kind of like that. I would probably get rid of this little line right here and do it like that, since you can kind of see this is the shape of what I shaded, and it kind of looks very, very similar. The only other thing that you may do, and you're only looking from the front. Yep, you're only looking from the front, so I think I would do that. If you put this one in like I had it before, that probably would be fine. And then we do the ones from the right. So if you keep them colored, you kind of can see which ones you have left, and those would be the ones that you would need to include on the right. So on the right, you see the small one in the front. Then you have 2 largers, right like that. Those are together, and then it will look like this top one is stacked right on that one. So the only ones that you can see are those shapes. So the shapes that you can see solid do kind of go together and you don't draw all the blocks. So what I'm talking about is this one right here. Don't do a stack of 2 blocks. It's a solid figure, so you don't want to include that part right there. Like this one too, I didn't include this part right here for that same reason. And that is it. So the trickiest part of this lesson today is the isometric dot questions, especially because you're drawing a different view, and also taking those isometric dot drawings and making them orthographic, which is taking each face and drawing it on a piece of paper. Good luck, everyone.